Hello and welcome back to Speculative Dude Presents. I'm your host, Speculative Dude. Now, this week I took a look at Marvel's latest, I guess you could call it the Avengers series, and speaking, the Captain America Winter Soldier. And to be perfectly honest, I liked it. Interestingly enough, I know a lot of people didn't really care for the first movie. Actually, what seems to be the common trait is that they like the first half of the movie, the build-up, but then once he became Captain America, a lot of people complained that the movie moved too quickly. And I do get what they say, or why they say that. But putting that aside, personally, I actually kind of liked it just for a simple origin story. My biggest complaint, though, about the original was that, well, to me, Captain America didn't feel like a superhero. He felt like he was very well trained, but not really like he was in, like he is in the comic books. You know, it's like good, but not really anything special. That improved a bit in the Avengers movie. I mean, they at least showed him doing some, jumps, flying, some, feats of strength that seemed a little more superhero-ish, but not a lot. This one really makes him look like a superhero, like this hero that he's supposed to be, in my opinion. I know he's not supposed to be superhuman technically. He's supposed to be enhanced human, which is just one step down. And I will admit, maybe they kind of blur the line and do make him kind of superhuman at times. But I don't really mind it. I just think it works really well. Anybody who knows me knows that for a long time I really wasn't that big a fan of Captain America, just because, to me I thought there were a lot more interesting characters. And then I sat down and started reading, despite a lot of people not liking Marvel's Civil War comic, I really liked the Captain America's character in there, as written through his own series, written by Ed Brubaker, who just, in my opinion, knocks the character out of the park. It's like he really knows how to write a character well. Captain America isn't one of these superheroes that has really a moral gray area. For him, everything is very black and white. Now, that may make him a little difficult to write, like, in many ways, Superman is another one. He's the Boy Scout. It's very similar as far as like their center of morality, and that can make for a difficult character to write, especially in a modern setting where there's so much corruption, so much going on. But I do like the fact that they really are attempting to, and in this movie, with so much going on around him that's, to say the least, questionable, to have someone who has a moral center and focus like Captain America does, I thought came off really, really well. And in this movie, there's just a lot was done well. Again, spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen it. Early, well, I shouldn't say relatively early, probably maybe about a third of the way through, they do this thing where it looks like Nick Fury's dead. I really don't think that fooled too many people. It's a comic book movie. One, if a character's not likely to be dead, unless they stay dead until at least the end of the movie. But anyone who knows Nick Fury knows he probably wasn't dead. But, putting that aside, I thought Scarlett Johansson did a great job as Black Widow. She does a very good job of being. Whereas Captain America, for example, a good example is the opening action piece of the movie. They're sent to retake a ship that's been hijacked. Captain America is there to essentially save the hostages. Black Widow has been sent on another mission, and now Cap doesn't know that until the end, obviously, but she's there, but she's obeying her orders. She's doing, what she's been told. But, Cap, it really bothers him that Cap expresses his frustration with, he's not being told everything. and you realize that this is a spy organization. This is very, this is very much like, a real, intelligence agency might act. I think this movie has a lot of, as much as you could say the gadgets and, the characters themselves, maybe over the top and, very comic bookish, the setting is actually very, in my opinion, very real world. Who can you trust in an agency like that? Can you trust anyone at all? And what do you do when you're not sure what the right thing to do is? And those are explored fairly well. I'm not gonna lie, when I first when you got to the point where Cap knows that the members of Shield, which you don't know this from the previous movies, but in this one it's been revealed that through pretty much the entirety of Shield coming into being and rising to where it is now, it's also been manipulated by Hydra. If you remember Hydra from the first Captain America movie, Dr. Zola, helped create Shield. They thought, as happened during World War II, many German scientists were recruited by America after the war, and other countries as well. And here, America recruited Dr. Zola, and he helped create Shield. Well, in doing that, he also helped create Hydra under the surface. So that that's a very interesting dynamic that they put in. And when Captain America finds out that, it's like, who does he trust? And I liked how it played off. As I said, Black Widow, even though she had her own orders from Fury, when it looks like Fury has died, and it even fools her character, she's willing to chuck everything and say, you know what, we need to find out who did this and why. And I think that goes to her character being, well, yeah, she may be the good soldier, may follow orders. She's also very loyal and does try to do the right thing if she believes it's the right thing. They make a point in the Avengers, when she says the line, I've got red in my ledger and I want to get rid of it. She does believe that she's doing the right thing, even if what she's doing is slightly questionable. Whereas Captain America, it's not so simple. Or in a way, I guess you could say it's more simple. He believes he knows the right thing to do, and he does it. Just flat, period, no question. It's many parts of this movie, are almost more like a spy thriller than it is an action movie, although there are plenty of action set pieces, obviously. Yeah, and I do think that works to the advantage of the movie. There's really only so much you can do with Captain America running around, being considering he is supposed to be, somewhat more limited in his abilities than pretty much any of the other Avengers other than Hawkeye and Black Widow. As far as the actual human characters, he's on the low end. So there's only so much you can do, and they do a lot. As I said, there is kind of they do kind of break the wall of what Captain America can physically accomplish. And I don't really mind it, but it's like, okay, Captain America probably couldn't do this, that, or whatever, and you'll see those moments throughout the movie. But overall, though, like I said, because of the spy aspect of it, you really do get a chance to see him doing more than just action pieces. Now, if there was any part that disappointed me a little bit, not a lot, but it was actually the Winter Soldier. Sebastian Stan comes back as Bucky, which people, again, who know Captain America know he was his sidekick. He was supposed dead, back during their missions during World War II, and in the comic books was actually found alive, frozen, not unlike Captain America himself, and was actually recruited as by different agencies, depending on which comic you read, different agencies, but most of the time it's considered the Russians during the Cold War, found him and used him in a way to create their own, maybe not super soldier, but very much like Black Widow and Hawkeye. Very well trained, very specific skill set. His arm was damaged, so it was replaced with a cybernetic prosthesis. They make good use of that in this movie. He's able to reach out and stop Cap's shield when he throws it. And there's one point in the comic book, which they may be moving towards this in the movies, they may not. But there's a point in the comic book where he actually took over temporarily as Captain America, and someone, I don't remember which character, I think it was Falcon, actually asked him, if he was able to handle the Cap's shield, because very few people are able to use it with the skill that Cap does. And he said, yeah, because of his cybernetic arm, he's one of the few who could, would be able to use it. So, to have him be able to reach out, stop it, and then at another point throw it right back at Cap with just as much, power as Cap would have, I think works well. They showed it. But he wasn't in very much of the movie. Now, that can be good, can be bad, because he was a very effective piece in the movie. He just wasn't there much. When he was there, he always had emphasis. There was always, a point to it. He was never needlessly on screen. Well, I suppose you could say there was one scene, and that's where he shows up in Robert Redford's kitchen. And I'll say this, Robert Redford, he's one of those actors, he's been around for a long time, and people, I think, a lot of times forget just how good an actor he is. Just because he hasn't been in a lot of movies in the last several years, people probably think, oh, he retired, or, maybe he's not, I hate to say it, but like Nick Nolte, back in the day was a good actor, fun actor to watch, and then you watch he just kind of slowly, regressed. And I think people might think that of Robert Redford, and then you see him here, and it's like, wow, it's like his character just of Pierce, he knocks it out of the park. He's very clear early on that he's the villain, but he does it from a position of, unlike say the Red Skull, who is in a position of authority and is very arrogant about it and very me. He's almost subtle in how he does it. He's been fortunate enough to be put in a position of authority. He uses it to manipulate. He doesn't strong arm most of the time. Towards the end, when things start to go wrong, he tries to strong arm, and that's pretty typical. But yeah, overall, really well done. I thought, like I said, he just knocked it out of the park. As quite possibly, I would have to say, my favorite villain up to this point, other than obviously Loki. But then again, the Thor movies and even the Avengers were kind of on a different had very different tones to them. So, yeah, as far as a villain for any one of the other characters other than Thor, I thought he was easily the best character. And as much as I like the Red Skull, as a classic Captain America villain, I thought Alexander Pierce as the villain in this movie was much better. All right. Let's see, the climax of the movie, the action pieces were good. I should bring this up now. Anthony Mackie as Sam Wilson, aka the Falcon, again knocked that role out of the park. I thought, great job. First of all, I think Anthony Mackie, is a great actor. Period. I don't think he's gotten as much respect as he should. He may not be known for more action-oriented pieces like he is here, but he did a great job of stepping up into an action role. And I thought he played Falcon very well, because he in the comic book, Captain America and Falcon have been partners, and they come across here as kind of being friends. Early on you see them talking. They're at Cap and Sam both happen to be out for a jog. Sam is ex-military. I don't remember his origins in the comic book, so I don't remember his his backstory. But he's out out for a jog, and you see Cap running by, you know, and they just and there's one part where they just stop to take a breather, and they just start talking, just regular guys, and it comes off to me as very believable. He knows who Captain America is, but Captain America is humble enough to just talk with a regular guy, and because of that, they just have a good rapport. And later he comes to Sam for help, and like I said, I think Mackie pulls it off very believable. It's like, what, I know who this guy is, I respect him, but he's here for my needs my help. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna help Captain America. This is what I can this is what I can do. And he does it. It looks like the wings on his Falcon suit, they're okay, I guess. They look very, I don't remember if they mentioned it in the movie or not, but I think they look very Stark Tech-ish, which is fine, but it's different from the comic book, but that's just up to personal preference. Again, I think I know some of the other reviewers, as I said, I actually do like to watch other reviewers. One of the reviewers said that until it got to that point, it seemed very real world, and then the Falcon suit kind of throws people off. But it's like, yeah, but you remember, this is still a comic book movie, and that is who the Falcon is. The Falcon has those now in the comic book, he actually uses something which is more similar to like a hard light hologram to create the wings for his suit. But I didn't mind that they did that, because that would seem even more odd. But here, I thought it worked well. The final action piece was good. Him, having to fight, Bucky, aka Winter Soldier again. And Bucky trying, having flashes of whether or not he remembers him. They actually do show a point where, he thinks he recognizes Steve, so they, essentially re-brainwash him into being, compliant. And, so of course he goes back and fights at the end, and keeps saying, I don't know who you are, I don't know who you are. And Cap's, just says, yes you do. And he takes off his mask. And at the end, he saves, after saving the day, he does save, Bucky's life, and then Bucky ends up, saving his in return. And there's two, well, not post-credits. There's the mid-credit, teaser, and then there's one at the very end. The one at the very end is Bucky standing in the Captain America museum, looking at the tribute to himself, as being the only one of the Howling Commandos who ever supposedly died. Because obviously they thought he, was dead, so they put a little tribute to him. And, that some people I know said they didn't like that, or they just thought that wasn't really particularly good. I just thought for the gravity of the character it worked. I should mention Stan Lee's cameo here. He's apparently a security guard at the Smithsonian. There's a point where Cap goes to, just before the last raid, if you will. Cap says, I need a suit. So he goes and gets the suit that's on display at the Smithsonian. And you see Stan Lee walk in as, just a security guard. And he just looks at it and just, all he says is, I am so fired. And he looks over and you see that, the Captain America suit, his World War II, battle, suit is gone. But like I said, great, Stan Lee's cameos are always really clever in my opinion. I loved in the first one where he's the general and just says, I thought he'd be taller. It's I like the subtle nods without them feeling they have to focus on him for too long. And as most people know, Stan Lee didn't create Captain America, but it was one of his first writing assignments. So putting Cap in there, or Stan in there with Cap, I think still works quite well. And just in general, I just thought the movie was really good. I give it, high marks. Like I said, I don't really have any major complaints. So, I totally recommend this. This is definitely, in my opinion, the best of the post-Avengers movies. Possibly the only, as much as I like some of the first Avengers, like I really like the first Iron Man, and most people aren't that big a fan of the Hulk movie, even though most people think it was solid. I really liked it too, but I would definitely put this up there as probably my favorite. Oh, other than Avengers itself, as possibly my favorite of the Marvel movie series. We'll see what happens. We've got X-Men: Days of Future Past coming up. I don't. We'll see how that goes. I'm kind of hesitant. I know a lot of people liked X-Men First Class. I didn't mind it, but I did have a lot of issues with it. So we'll see what happens with that. Hopefully they do do an interesting a good movie. I have looked forward to all the X-Men movies, and whether I've liked them or not, which I have enjoyed them despite a lot of problems. So we'll see. There's a lot of good movies coming up this summer. A lot of them are sequels. I heard someone actually refer to this as sequel summer. Coming up very soon will be Amazing Spider-Man 2. I'll be checking that out. Also next month is Godzilla. The trailers look really good for that one. I'll see. We'll see. Hopefully it lives up to the hype. Then again, there was a lot of hype about the 1998 movie, and we all know how that one went. But of course, then there's the fourth Transformers movie. Looks like a complete tonal shift for the series, which could be good, could be bad. We'll see. I do hope that it has improved. While I didn't particularly mind Shia LaBeouf in the last movies, I do know that his character was rather superfluous in in the grand scheme of things. So, getting rid of him and having new characters in there. While I may not be the biggest Mark Wahlberg fan, I will give credit where credit is due. He is a good actor. So we'll see how he carries the movie now. Just lots of great movies coming out this summer. So, we're off and running. So we'll see what happens next. Until next time, that's my opinion. Take it for what it's worth. Speculative Dude, out.